Hello and welcome to the Catch a Lift Coaches Corner. I'm Cal head coach Melissa Luke, and this week I'm honored to welcome U.S. Army veteran Wolf Critton to today's show. Wolf is a U.S. Army veteran and Cal veteran athlete. Welcome to this week's episode of the Coaches Corner. Wolf, welcome.
It's an honor being here. Really glad to be able to reach out to you guys and what y'all have done for me. It's my pleasure.
Well, we are so excited to talk with you. Let's just jump right in, Wolf. Can you tell us a little bit about your life growing up?
Before the military, I don't know, it was pretty basic life for the most part. Then 9/11 happened, and I've never been more horrified and afraid in my life to walk around outside and to be looking up at the sky, making sure a plane doesn't drop on my head. I can't express the amount of anger I felt being afraid, and that's what pretty much pushed me towards the military and wanting to serve and protect and thinking of the future. And next thing you know, I'm dropping out of high school to sign up a lot quicker for the military. Had my mom sign a waiver, got my GED, went in, and the rest, that's when we go into the service life.
So talk to me about that. Talk to me about joining the Army and that desire to after 9/11. What did that push look like for you?
Oh man, so it was a no-brainer. It really was. Again, the concept of realizing that you can be gone at any minute and that innocent people were under attack, and you have no power to do anything to save your family. God forbid something happened there during that time frame. And as you look at what happened, it was actually a very rare instance of the country coming together. There was no conflict in color or
right.
Political. Everybody was just one country. We're in this together. And like I said, for me, it was just instantaneous. Like, I'm not going to spend the next however many years this was going to happen. At the time, we had no idea.
Right.
How long this was going to be going on, and be standing from the sidelines. And I went there, signed up. My first MOS, I went in. I scored so low. I only had two options. I was between truck driver and infantry, or 88 Mike and 11 Bravo. During that time frame, I decided to go 88 Mike, driving trucks. I spent most of my time as an 88 Mike, in the States. We didn't deploy. Then when it came to my term ending, my ETS date, I re-enlisted and went into the infantry. And within months after that, I deployed to Iraq.
Well, would you talk to us a little bit about your feelings leading up to that Iraq deployment?
In terms of when you find out you're deploying, we, as a civilian, we base our lives off what the media says, and it's pretty damn scary. You're seeing these things on TV. You're seeing it just looks like we're getting killed left and right during that time frame. So I was horrified. At the same time, I was excited. There's so many emotions mixed in at once. I was standing next to some amazing soldiers. I couldn't have imagined a better unit to go in with. I say the main thing I remember between being told we were deploying to the point of landing in Kuwait, before we went out to our actual base, our FOB. The biggest thing I remember was that 16-hour plane ride. Yeah. How quiet it was, and how you could see everybody just trying to stay calm, and
yeah.
That to me is everything before that blur. But just those final hours before you land in a combat zone, and not even Kuwait wasn't even a combat zone. It was Baghdad, but yeah, man, that was a scary plane ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that for myself, being a young soldier and flying over, and we flew into Kuwait too, and but just this apprehension, what was it actually going to be like? What are we going to be moving into and such? Um, and it is. I remember a lot of quietness on that plane ride, and right, just people almost mentally preparing as best as they could, maybe.
And that's what comes to mind too. Actually, is leaving when you leave your family. Um, I had a son at the time. He's still obviously still here, but he was just born, and trying to maintain a semblance of hiding your fear for your family,
Right.
so that they didn't worry. So you're just trying to play it cool, and yeah, everything will be fine. We would Skype
Oh yeah.
you, and
Yeah.
we had MySpace then, so. Yeah, even that scenario. But those are the reason why I didn't even come to mind is because those are the things we have to really push far back in the back of our heads. Otherwise, we can't focus on whatever missions we have on that.
For sure.
But yeah, that was those two instances, that the goodbye and in your head feeling like you might not see them again. There's a good chance you're not going to see them again. And that plane ride over there, you could just see it all in one giant ball.
What was the mission there for you guys, Wolf? What were you doing in Iraq?
So I feel like a priest right now. So my deployment, we had 3 missions. One mission was to guard the Iraqi citizens on the base, on the FOB. The other, meaning we would give them jobs. So, and in turn, we would be helping out their towns and whatnot.
Right.
So we would either be guarding them as they work on the burn pits. There was other missions throughout the base mines. One of my missions was watching Iraqi citizens on burn pits. Actually, there's 4 missions. We also did security. We did the security for when people enter the FOB, civilians. I'll never forget watching people go through those X-ray machines. It reminded me of that movie Total Recall. It was really, really eerie, especially when you have that the briefing before you actually start your missions, and you see the videos of people driving their vehicles right into the try to get right to the base, and
right.
Those cars are going, and they show you all this stuff, so you know what you need to look out for. Also, our other mission was security at the hospitals, meaning we would stand next to insurgents that were wounded. I would see women that were domestically abused. And when I say this, I don't just mean punched around. I mean boiling water thrown over their bodies.
Oh my gosh.
Screaming with 3rd-degree burns. And then the other mission outside of that was convoys. Point A to point B.
Yep.
Missions. So yeah, those were all the missions that I've had on the base, and the base was Anaconda. So, AKA Mortar City.
Yes, I'm very, very familiar with Anaconda. I was an 88 Mike. I was a het driver, and that's what I did for a year, was convoys to every corner of Iraq. I remember going to Anaconda many times, and so you also did convoy security. So we've got that common there too, doing the convoys.
I was one of the gunners, so I was on the 50 cal. You remember looking at the garbage bags and trash and every single dump that you think it could blow up.
For sure.
Shit is intense.
And just to hit on that for a minute too, from so like I said, so it was convoys for a year, and that was just it, before we even got there, we were briefed on a lot of different stuff, kind of convoy security wise. And, they try to prepare you for what you're going to face out there on the road. And it's like, your big thing I always remember them telling us is that when you're on the road, you're constantly, to be scanning for something that looks out of place, right? And so that could be a carcass of an animal. It could be a bag of garbage. It could be, a place where there's suddenly gravel piled up on the pavement that shouldn't be there. But then we got there and everything was out of place.
Everything was trash.
Every single thing was out of place.
That's probably why I'm so good at riding a motorcycle.
Yeah. For sure.
Up, there's somebody, 40 meters that way, and this car's coming out here. I'm telling you, every time we got on those trips, it was like, and then being a gunner, I'd just sit and four of us looking at each other on top of the turrets, and it's like he's got the 3 to 6, and it's just it's such a horrifying experience. And the biggest takeaway I got from those horrifying moments, and that was the first few months, is you get so tired of worrying that you start to embrace death, that you just start to accept the fact that you won't be here. And when you get to that point, well, your missions are never sharp. They're sharpest as they will ever be, because you no longer have that fear of dying, and it becomes, the fear of dying to just making sure your whole squad unit is protected, So, yeah.
Wolf, would you talk to us a little bit about the Iraqi civilians that you dealt with, and like you said, maybe specifically like the hospital work that when you guys were doing that?
Yeah. So there's a lot of experiences. I'll try to go through the order. I mean, we've talked about them prior. I have no problem bringing them up now. So one of the main things that I think the most mind-damaging scenarios for me was, again, manning the hospitals. We sometimes would have families, and as you can imagine, the Iraqi hospitals aren't as advanced, are funded as well as even our base, and our base had basic equipment. It didn't have enough, so they had a baby, and these parents came in. This baby was maybe 3 days old, just born, and blue. And these parents were begging the nurses and doctors, and I'm standing right there. I have to guard them. I have to make sure things up to par, begging them to save their child's life. And they couldn't, because the equipment that they needed for the heart surgery was in Germany. So, they said, listen, we'll put them, breather on the kid and IV him, and, see how it goes. I can't remember if it's an IV. They did something, and, trying to help. And I sat with those parents, and long story short, watched the baby die with them. And that to me was, that set me up.
Yeah.
It was, you get to a point, we're seeing, I was seeing every day our brothers and sisters coming in wrapped in white sheets. The hospital to me was the hardest, because, you're looking at a brother, and they're putting flags on the body with the bullet holes. And you just, you can't show anything. You can't really show any emotion, and you never get rid of it. It never leaves your mind. So my main mission was me surrounded by a lot of death, and then we would have these insurgents, and this guy killed two vets that are two soldiers that are in the next room, and you gotta be fucking nice to them, Just saying that makes me mad. So moving further into the deployment after that, actually, I ended up I was talking to my family on Skype, and one of those days I got a hold of my cousin, and my cousin tells me he thinks something's going on with my fiance at the time and my brother, and from what he told me, it was pretty much confirmed. So now you have a guy, that just embraced death, and now has to deal with the worst betrayal he's ever felt.
Right,
I only have one brother, and I wouldn't have seen that coming in a million years, especially with me sending money back to this woman, fighting to get back home to her. So that was another thing I had to push in the back of my head, just to focus on my missions and get through. Later on, come find out that there's a lot of us that happen to. But that being said, you don't know that at the time. You just, else is, they seem fine when it comes to their personal lives, and you're just like, I can't even share this with anybody. And you just keep moving,
So I know a lot of it, and I'm basing this off of myself, but I'm assuming with you too. And you alluded to a lot of the stuff that is going on when a soldier is deployed, right? We're constantly just trying to compartmentalize it, shove it somewhere else, right? Because it's mission. We're trying to get our brothers and sisters, the ones to our left and right, home safe, right? How were you dealing with this stuff during that time, Wolf? You've got, personal kind of family turmoil going on back home that's obviously affecting you greatly. You have an incredibly high stress job and, what you're having to just endure on a daily basis. How were you pushing through day to day?
Listen, so at this point, again, I was dealing with the anxiety the moment the planes crashed an hour and a half away from me into a building. So I am well acclimated with anxiety, depression, and so on, and hiding it, or I was.
Right.
So I wasn't dealing with it. That's how I was dealing with it.
Yeah.
I would go into my trailer and I would download a YouTube video and learn how to play the guitar. I was doing so many things to keep myself from stopping to think. And in its own right, it was. I mean, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Even if you talk to somebody when you're, you see people coming in. There was a guy that we were watching. I think me and him was on watch it was like 12 o'clock. And he got a call that his best friend committed suicide. And I actually had to take his weapon from him, and, and I could see how during that time frame when that happened, and that's another reason why made me put it behind my head is I was concerned at the fact that he was so stressed out and suicidal in that moment that I couldn't focus on the, insurgents a couple from me because I'm worried about him. And it's like, no, we have to do this mission. We have to be focused on 100%. We can't allow the civilian lives to interfere with our, our term in service. They can't coincide. At least they didn't for me.
Yeah. Well, what was it like coming home from war back to the U.S.?
So coming home, it was rough because, even at this point, I still wanted, to know my brother loved me and things of that nature. So let's even put aside the fact that I came back, and to this day I'm scanning everything around me, these habits and whatnot. But I didn't know I had PTSD. I had no idea that I had that issue. I spent the 3 months trying to at least get my brother to admit to it, because then if he admitted to it, it wouldn't have meant nothing to him. And he didn't have the balls to do that at that time. That led me to seeking out a police officer at a movie theater by my house, and I basically tried to commit suicide by cop. The cop, I think he knew I was military, so he ended up calling an ambulance for me instead. And I spent 3-4 days in an asylum, and that was fun. Medicated, walking around, damn near drooling. Got out of that, and I don't know, my music, I just kept playing my music. Next thing you know, I don't even remember how it happened. I got a phone call from a news station, and I was playing the guitar out in Connecticut on CT Style News. And then I don't know, then I just started playing songs that, I can't play a song that I didn't experience. So all my songs were about struggles. And I didn't realize that even that was bad, because I was reliving shit over and over and over. Every time I picked up the guitar, I could be playing in front of 1,000 people, and I'm putting myself back into that mix. And then that led to a point where I was in my room, and I was playing this really horrible song that I wrote about my life. And next thing you know, I tried to chug a bunch of Advil PMs. Well, I did. I chugged a bunch of Advil PMs. Mom actually walked in the room, and they called an ambulance. You know, charcoal in the stomach and all that shit. And I don't know. At that point, when I was in the ambulance, I told myself that if I lived through it, I had to do something different. You know, I had to be that veteran that I needed.
Right, right.
Mind you, I tend to jump over sections, but there was
It's all
nobody I could
right.
talk to. There was nobody that I could talk to. There was nobody that, you know, vets that I came across that emulated anything about. Yeah, me too, bro. That happened to me. Yeah, this is what I did. And I don't know. In that moment in the ambulance, that's when I decided that I would be that person. You know. So
What
yeah.
did that look, how did you start to develop that person, Wolf, you know, coming
Well,
off of that attempt? What did that look like for you? How did you?
so one, I put the guitar down. I haven't played it since really played it. You know, I picked up a guitar once or twice and just the bullshit. Um, well, the first thing I realized I had to do was I had to do something to me, for me, to get me to somewhat function and be able to communicate and share my feelings. One was a motorcycle, you know, but I was new at it at that time, so it wasn't that much of a therapeutic scenario for me. The other was rock climbing. The other was axe throwing, but the one that worked out the most for me, that helped me alleviate aggression and stress and things that I didn't know was inside of me, was working out. You know, was boxing, was hitting a bag, CrossFit. I was doing everything and anything to take that energy of me, instead of punching holes in walls, you know, putting it into something that I can't destroy, you know, something that could take my rage and give it right back.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
So when you and I met for the first time and we were talking about your fitness, you said something to the effect of, in reference to the bag, you know, said that the bag will save me every time I hit it. Can
Yeah.
you explain that to us a little bit?
Um, it's hard to put into words. There's that survivor's guilt. There is anger. There is such a state of chaos and wishing that I was still in Iraq because it made more sense than America does. The brotherhood, etc. There is a lot of fucking rage in me every second of the day. Just as much as I push those bad memories from the back of my mind during those time frames. Now it's in the forefront. I talk about it, but there's this anger that's still there. Um, that anger, if I can't control it, I wouldn't be here right now. And the only way I can control it is by hitting that bag. That bag is me. You know, that bag is the part of me that I would like to keep away from people. That bag represents the guy I don't want to come out, and the only way to keep him down is to beat the shit out of him. That's what I do. Yeah.
So Wolf, I want to just kind of jump. We're going to come back to fitness in a bit, but I just want to kind of jump ahead here for a minute. You know, you're living in Florida now. Your family is a big part of your life. Would you tell us a little bit about your family and your kids?
Yeah, I got four pups, four kids. It's fun making them.
Yeah.
Beautiful wife. Basically, I'm now 100%. So, and I was in New York when I got my 100%, and we just decided to go, you know, somewhere beautiful where I could ride every day, and you know, no limits, no
Yeah.
limits, retirement, and you know, my wife picked Florida, and here we are. You know,
That's wonderful.
I'm still
What's
getting
it?
old. I,
What's it mean for you, Wolf, to have fitness as an outlet and be able to model that for your children, you know, as something a healthy part of your life and release?
so, so there's been, I mean, and I've put these on TikTok, these videos, where I would get upset and I would wait for them to leave, or I would leave, or I'd wait till I was alone, and next thing you know, there's a hole in the wall. Or there's a hole through a door. Even a few days ago, and it was a mistake. I couldn't find my meds, and I thought I was sitting next to the wall. Slammed my fist and broke the window next to me. I mean, me and my wife was laughing about it, but at the same time, she's like,
Yeah.
I need you to calm down. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Fitness for me is it's not even like just the aspect of modeling fitness as therapy, more so than if it wasn't for that, my kids would grow up watching their dad storming out of the house every 30 minutes. So they didn't see him blow up, or, my wife saying, all right, guys, let's go out for a ride, leave daddy home. I couldn't be a part of anybody's life.
Right.
The only people that I can be around off medication is vets. That's it. I can't be, I refuse to be around, even walking to the store. I can't do it without medication. To me, it's hard. But when I run out of meds and I'm sitting there hitting this bag, twice a day, it definitely, my medication, I'd say at least 2 pills are off my list now because of that.
That's terrific.
And it's only been a few weeks. And I lost 7 pounds of the medication that they give me that is supposed to help me with my mood. It's also it's for your blood pressure. And that helps, so these things literally saves my life. It saves my life with my family, because I want them to grow up, seeing their dad smile, not holding something back.
Right.
Yeah.
So you create TikToks, Wolf, and you advocate for veterans with your posts, and they have gone viral, just kind of that in and of itself. What has that been like for you to be someone that is viral on TikTok?
It wasn't expected. I was, and that was another scenario when it comes to PTSD. Is one of the worst things we can do is sit in a room by ourselves and just think. And when COVID hit, man, gyms were closed, movie theaters, you name it. There's nothing we could have did. And a friend suggested TikTok. I don't even know who it was. Just somebody who suggested TikTok. It was a vet. And I don't know. You laugh and you see these funny videos, and next thing you know, there's a whole world of veterans and active duty, Marines, Army, you name it. Everybody's on this site, and you scroll a little bit and you see somebody crying, and they're not saying what it is, and it's just like, holy shit, like maybe this is because we don't really like to show our feelings out there. We don't really like, even around each other, we try to bottle up. And I'm looking at it like, maybe this is that screen, that protection we need, because it's it's through a phone.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I did one video in terms of the military, and the response, holy shit, me too, man. Yeah, I know exactly how you're feeling. And, they're thinking that, it's just helping them. No, just hearing them, like, really? You too? Now I'm hearing stories about the same shit that I've been through, the same scenarios, the disloyalty, your family betraying you while you're fighting for them. And it's just, I haven't stopped since. And, like I said, I was always doing music. So I did that by myself. I didn't have anybody on stage with me. I just had me and my guitar. So I guess I was made for it. So, prior to this, I was self-marketing, pushing my way to get the word out.
Right.
I went through that too. So TikTok, the 30-second to 60-second video, that's me every day. I'll put a video up of me crying, and I hate doing those videos, but there's a point. The point is that we all break down. It's not just you. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I always joke around. We're sensitive, trained killers.
Yep.
Bottom line. But yeah, I don't know. TikTok, trust me, I had no idea it would get like this. And now there's those. It's amazing. Saved. I'm saying humbly, saved a lot of lives. I have referred veterans to a lot of organizations. Motorcycle outlets, the CVMA, and you name it. just do this. I did this. I did Warhorse for veterans. I did this. I did, recently Catch a Lift Fund. If that was my way, I'm more than excited to share it, just to know I can help one person, and I don't know. I don't even know where it's at in climbing.
Yeah, that's incredible. So how often are you putting out videos, Wolf, on TikTok?
Well, so for most people, if you're like new to TikTok, or marketing in general, or filmography, things of that nature, which I became partial to, shooting music videos of myself, then it looks like it's strenuous. It'll take me 5-10 minutes to shoot a video. I have a drone that follows me on the bike. I have, the GoPros. To me, it's literally, if it's a minute-long video, it took me 10 minutes to record it. So I don't know, once a day, give or take. Now I'm slowing down a little bit because I'm spreading myself thin.
Right.
I have those, phone calls where I'm talking to someone out of suicide, sharing my story with them. So I was like, dude, if I can survive this shit, you can survive it.
Yeah.
This is what happened to me, and I get it. And dude, if you fight for me, I'll fight for you. And that's the main message. But like I said, now I have to slow it down because you tend to forget about yourself. And
Definitely.
like, okay, I found myself a few weeks ago getting depressed again because I was sharing a story over and over and over again with different vets. Well, all right, hey brother, hey sis, da 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 da. So all right, let me take a few days off. But it's definitely an amazing community on TikTok of military veterans.
That's terrific to hear. And I want to say too, so it was like a week ago, I was reading new intake interviews for athletes coming into the Catch a Lift program. And one of the questions we ask is, how'd you hear about Catch a Lift? And the veteran said, I saw a guy on TikTok, talking about Catch a Lift. And I'm like, that had to have been Wolf. It's incredible. So you are making a tremendous impact, So, when you do have to take that and kind of take that step back and focus on yourself or just kind of decompress for a few days, Wolf, what does that look like for you? What do you do to kind of recharge and, get your cup back dumped out a bit?
It's right behind me. I didn't have this a few weeks ago, this bag. Thanks to you guys, I do now. So it gives me a chance to meditate in its own right. Before you guys got in touch with me, man, I wasn't. I just kept going and going and going and going. And every now and then, broken TV, broken door, broken window. And you're not even seeing it. It's just that happened by accident. I slipped up there. I got mad here. And it's frustration about, like I said, I can't find a bottle of my medication. I can't go out because it's raining. And being able to come in here and, just square up with the bag, that's what it looks like. That's what that relaxation looks like. Because not only am I relieving stress, constructively, it's complete therapy.
Yeah. So. What do you wish that civilians understood about the veteran community, and maybe more specifically, veterans dealing with post-traumatic stress?
So I don't know. I'll try to grasp it. So I really wouldn't have anything to say to civilians. I mean, when it comes to the civilian mindset in general, the only advice I've ever given a civilian is be the type of American worth fighting for and dying for. That's my only advice. I really am. I don't know the word. I'm focused on vets. I'm focused on helping them. And the only message there is that we're not alone, that we're all in this shit together. We still are. We're still a unit. We're still a squad. We're still a crew. I wouldn't find myself in a situation explaining to a civilian what's going on in my head. It wouldn't make sense to me. That's why I had such a hard time with the psychiatrist at the VA. Civilians, why am I telling you this? You don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Have you seen us before? Well, trying to think about that. Well, have you seen a child die in front of you and then have to kick the parents out with the child because they can't stay on the base while they're crying, So again, like I said, the only people I can be around without medication is vets.
Yeah.
So no real advice for civilians. PTSD has many faces, and honestly, I say right now the best thing for me is exercise, and I know it's the best thing for a lot of people that I know that have PTSD. So if it works for us, there's nothing wrong with giving it a shot and making sure that you've tried everything you could before you started down in medication.
Yeah. What would you say, Wolf, to vets that, have struggled with PTS and they have felt isolated and, they're struggling to refine, because like you said, we are still all a unit, we're still all a team. But so many vets, when they do separate from service, they do just feel like they're alone.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they get, what do you tell them to, get them kind of out of that mindset that they are not alone?
Well, the first takeaway I give is it's the idle hands, quote.
Yeah.
So just sure you know Bobby Hemline, right? Yeah, me and him are going to be, he's doing an event he just invited me to that they're going to fly me out to teach vets how to throw axes.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
I'm more hands-on than I am verbal. So first and foremost, I would tell them that, and if they were in a talking mood, because that's very rare in itself, find something that you like, find a hobby, try everything and everything possible before you sit down in that room by yourself, But usually you get reached out to by a family member, and then I'll tell that family member, get him up, what does he like? Bring him to this, bring him to that, keep him active, keep him busy. And over time, he'll be able to constructively break down his own mind and on each piece, one at a time. I don't know if I trailed off there, but
no. Thank you for that. And that's something I've long believed, though, too. There is something for everybody, right? And it's not necessarily the first thing you come across as a veteran, right?
Oh, yeah.
But there is something for you, and there is something that that can still captivate you, and that can become that release for you. But something I've seen a lot is that you need to say yes to opportunities. So, Wolf, tell me, how did you learn about Catch a Lift?
Oh, so I was, okay, best way to word this. I was literally, when the gyms give you a free week trial, things of that nature. I was running from gym to gym, whether it's 30 minutes to an hour, to 45 minutes to 2 hours, using up those time slots. My wife's like, listen, there's got to be something out there for veterans. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure there is, honey, but even so, I can't afford a gym membership. We can't afford. We have 4 kids.
Yeah.
And she went online and checked this out. And this was last year. And I was doing that since. And then I'd run out, and then I'd just be dormant for months. And we found you guys. We put in, and everything happens at the right time.
Yes.
It happened when I got out here to Florida, and as beautiful as Florida is, it's new to me, and I don't know anybody out here, so it's depressing. And that I was starting to feel isolated again. And then you guys reached out. I could get emotional saying it, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And you guys reached out to us, and next thing you know, there's a boxing bag in my garage and some nice gloves, and I'm doing pretty damn good now. So
that is so terrific to hear, Wolf. We are so blessed to have you in our program, and we are so very glad that you have that bag, to take it out on now. I have one last question I want to ask you today, Wolf. What does it mean to you to be a Catch a Lift Fund veteran athlete?
It's just another opportunity for me to be a role model and to be that voice and that veteran that I needed when I was looking at my feet in an ambulance. Um, to be a part of something that can take us to a place where we can be ourselves. Um, Medication flatlines me for the most part, and I don't have to do that on that bag. And to be a part of anything that allows us to be who we are, the soldiers, the warriors, the Marines, the Vikings, it means everything, you know. And I'm just proud, you know. I'm proud to be a part of something this life saving.
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for your service to our great country. And thank you for continuing to advocate for our veteran community, and to be that person that you wish you had. Now you are that to so many men and women, so we thank you for that.
Yeah, it's mutual, guys. It's mutual. You guys are amazing too, and my world's that much bigger.
Yeah.
You guys are in my life. And
absolutely.
That's everything.
That's it for this week's episode of Coach's Corner. We will return next Wednesday at 1 Eastern Time with another episode. Wolf, thank you again so much for sharing your story and your light with us all today. It's an absolute honor to talk with you. Thank you to ClearBridge for your support of all things Catch a Lift. Thank you to Lynn Coughlin, Henry Pomper, and Kaylee Nasiri for all the work you do to make this podcast possible week after week. And we thank the entire CAL team. Until next week, keep it real and stay CAL strong.